Hello, my name is Andrea Novotny. This is my reflection on for Standard 6. I have 10 years of teaching, and over my 10 years of teaching, I've learned quite a bit. But I think the best part about, getting my bachelor's degree is I got to learn a lot about why. I've always made sure that I have a strong relationship with my families, mostly because knowledge is power, right? So if we don't know what's going on in their life, if there's something rough going on at home and they're acting out at school, like we need to know, like when we need to make sure that the parents are feeling comfortable to approach us and let us know what the situation is, and we can also, help each other and get some feedback. I've gotten to a point where I start, if I started at school and, you know, it's nice that other teachers tell me what they need to know, but I will about the students, but I'll go and I'll talk to the parents, and I've figured out that some kids are actually like there was identical twins, and nobody knew that they were 2 months they're premature. They were born 2 months early. So while developmentally they were 2 months older than the rest of their peers, I mean they really weren't in terms of you know gestation age. That's just an example of how we get to know our students. So then you realize, okay, like these kids shouldn't be 2 months ahead. They should be back here. And I feel like it's important that we recognize that. We need to know as much as we can about these kids. So that's what I do. I make sure that I've gone out of my way to learn anything and everything I possibly can. And I make sure that the parents have. I go as far as making sure that all my parents have my phone number. Because if there was once a child went home, he started throwing up, and then they called the school. I had gotten off that day already, so then they called the school and spoke with another teacher, and had they just given them my phone number, this parent could have called me to find out when did my child start feeling sick. Like they just didn't understand like what had been happening that day. And so I called them immediately the next day and gave them the whole rundown of letting them know that like, no, your child was fine all day. And they're like, okay, thank you. Like they just needed that reassurance of somebody's been paying attention to my kid that day. For that reason, I do try to make sure that if parents want my personal cell phone number, they can have it. It helps. So for my role, as a positive, and like I actually like my children are going to school with some of the kids that I teach. I have my daughter still hangs out with some of her TK friends, and I was a TK teacher. And with that rapport has gotten me to, I meet more people. They praise me. They go, "Oh yeah, like we love Miss Andrea. Like she even potty trained our kids. Like she's so good and so attentive." And I just make sure that all my parents feel seen, feel heard, that all my kids feel seen, feel heard. And it's nice. It's nice that you have that standard with parents. Or I've had parents, like I don't speak a whole lot of, I'm not fluent in Spanish, but I have parents going, "Oh yeah, like my daughter came home and told me that Andrea speaks Spanish," just because that child was Spanish speaking, and I was helping the child understand what's going on in the class by using Spanish words and helping them. So that also has been really nice. I'm very well known in the community for being like speaking Spanish, even though I'm not that great. But I did also take a Spanish class recently, so I do want to learn more. I recently worked with a child that was an ASL, first language was ASL, and I was constantly asking the mom, learning as many words as I possibly could. I wanted to, and it makes a difference, like to say hi friend or sign hi friend. I mean, he had colloquials, so he could hear me, but you could tell that there was that second level of connection that I took the time to speak it and sign it. It makes a difference. My ultimate goal is to be working in an elementary school. I still really like the preschool age, which is why I'm hoping to get more TK kindergarten first. It just happens that in my area, the preschools aren't quite at the level that I would like to be teaching at. Just, like you go to a school and sometimes there's no grass and kids need grass. Or you go to a school and the classrooms, like there's one school that's very well known here, but they are academically, like academics is their number one goal, and I want to be working a play-based. So yeah, that's the reason why I went back to get my bachelor's degree, was so I could have that choice of being and have the environment where I can teach in the setting that I want to teach and teach the kids how I want to teach, and which ultimately is mostly communication. Like even when I'm trying to communicate through across the classroom, my kids have always known that if I say, I'll sign sit please instead of saying it out loud, because I'm just making eye contact with that one kid and I don't need to say it out loud. I don't need to make them feel singled out. I just sign sit please and they sit. And I want to really make sure that my class is as inclusive as possible. I want those kids that are suffering with having troubles with their behaviors to feel safe and feel seen. I do have a sweet spot and a soft spot for children with special needs, and that carries forward quite a bit when I'm teaching. So yeah, thank you, and thank you for listening.